Let's also get in Manishi Raychaudhuri to tell us more. Manishi, good afternoon and welcome to the show. A big rating upgrade coming in for India, and this is at a time when we have the 79th independence celebrations tomorrow as well. How do you read this upgrade, number one, and the back of this upgrade, how do you see FI inflows reacting to this?
Okay, great. Thank you very much for having me here. I think this upgrade was, in a sense, long overdue, because if one compares India's, the usual parameters like debt to GDP ratio or fiscal deficit, and inflation, which basically gives more room to the Reserve Bank of India, then pretty much India would compare favorably with all the other economies which are rated similarly. So, I think it's a reaffirmation that India's stable fiscal and monetary policy is bearing fruit, and it's also giving a good deal of policy stability and policy room to both the government and the central bank.
Okay. So Manishi, overall, taking these into consideration now when you're talking about the growth momentum moving ahead, and because this rating upgrade was long overdue, do you think the FIs that have been sellers in the last 1 month, there is a potential for that buying interest to come back?
It's definitely a sentiment boost, no doubt. But at the same time, I think FIIs, or why FIIs only, pretty much all investors would possibly wait for the earnings environment to catch on. As I have said repeatedly, that the strongest reason why we have seen foreign outflows and the market coming down is that the earnings estimates have been coming down over the past 1 year, right from September 2024. So we would need the earnings estimates to bottom out and then begin moving up before we see a sustained revival in the inflows. So I think that could happen. And most importantly, I think this rating change also reaffirms that there is enough policy wiggle room for both the government and the central bank to provide some stimulus so that earnings estimate revival and even the consumption revival can be hastened.
What, Manishi, in your opinion, and this is Harsha, sorry, what in your opinion will revive consumption in a big fashion? Because while we talk about fiscal prudence on the one hand, and that's probably likely one of the big reasons for this upgrade, it's also a bit of a concern that an economy of $4 trillion odd dollars still is looking or gunning for 6.5% growth. Would that in any way disappoint you? And do you believe that a solid stimulation on the consumption side is still required, or all of it is done? What's your opinion there?
I think the government has done its bit in terms of giving more money in the hands of the urban taxpayer. Also, the 16th Pay Commission awards are likely to be implemented in the near term. But at the same time, what we need possibly is more job creation, and which also needs some degree of, what should I call, clearing up of the policy environment. Right now, much of the, basically the lack of job creation or the job losses are happening in the tech and service sector. Like TCS talking about 12,000 reductions in the middle and senior to mid-level is sort of a proverbial canary in the coal mine. So until and unless we have some revival on that side, it is difficult for consumption sentiment to pick up on a sustainable basis.
So much, Manishi, for coming in, giving us that perspective. Voices coming in thick and fast. Also wishing you a very happy Independence Day.